Next up is Erik, Minorities for Medical Marijuana.
Good morning. My name is Erik. I'm the board chair for Minorities for Medical Marijuana. We serve in 25 states across the country, and Mr. Minardi is correct when he says that we are the laughing stock of the rest of the country on this very issue when we think about smokable. One of the issues I'd like to bring up to you all today that hasn't been mentioned is how this impacts communities of color. When we think about the lack of resources that have been put into educating communities of color about this new medicine that has come online here in the state of Florida, when we think about the healthcare disparities that continue to persist in our communities, we're now placing further barriers in the way of patients getting their medicines. When we think about minorities in their communities and we think about the cost of these products, concentrates cost a lot more than smokable flower. They cost a lot more because they require processing. They require special handling throughout the process in order to get to market. And so once those products are in market and we think about the affordability in a cash-only business in which minority communities right now struggle to pay for prescription medications, struggle to pay for health care, we're now asking them to pay an additional amount for concentrates and things that they're not familiar with and educated on. So we've missed the boat in two ways. We haven't educated them on the new medicines that are available, nor have we made it affordable for them to gain safe access. And so what does that mean? They continue to get their medicines from the black market. And when we look at the arrest rates and the disparities, the racial disparities in arrest rates right here in our own state, our average is higher than the national average. The national average being 3.7. Florida's average, 4.2 times more likely if you're African American to get arrested for carrying this plant. So when we look at this and we look at making this affordable, when we look at making this safe access for everybody, we have to look at whether or not just by banning smokable, if we are continuing to perpetuate this war on drugs. I am also the CEO of Art 420, and if I could paint a visual for you. One of my pieces of art that from an artist that I work with, she's from Jamaica. She came over and visited our country, and she created a piece of art to demonstrate some of the contradictions that we have in this industry. And if I can paint this picture, she has a 4-panel piece, and the name of the piece is called Death by Substance. The first panel is a brown color palette completely filled with dots representing tobacco, demonstrating the number of deaths that we know are associated with tobacco. The next panel over is alcohol. Less dots in tobacco, but more dots in prescription medications, which is the next panel. And the very final panel, which represents cannabis, is completely blank. Because as Mr. Minardi has said, in over 5,000 years, we have no recorded deaths associated with cannabis. This piece of art hangs in one of our Florida physicians' offices right now, someone certified to see patients for medical marijuana. And the reason why he has this painting in his office is so he can demonstrate to his patients who are fearful of opioids, or who are on opioids but fearful of medical marijuana, how they are safer by using this, whether smokable or not, than taking some of the opioids that they're currently on. So I implore you, make this available, make this safely available and affordably for all communities and not just those who have the money and resources to be able to participate. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Range. The